What is up, everybody? We are finally recording episode 88 of the Brahma Bullpen. We're not breaking any news here. We're not sharing anything exciting. We're basically 2 weeks behind the horrible announcement from the UFL. Took us a few days not only to uh, bring ourselves to discussing this in public without cussing, saying obscene things, and getting ourselves in trouble. But also took us a while to figure out what we're going to do next and kind of talk about it and see what we're doing as far as producing content on behalf of United Football Media from the cow pasture. Here we are, producer. Uh, how you feeling today, buddy?
Oh man, it feels like a breakup, and it just takes you a little while to kind of get over things, settle down, think about it. Like you said, we're trying to figure out what to do next, how to handle it, but it's really late getting this episode out because it's been a little bit, but uh, it took a little bit to kind of compose ourselves. So I agree with that, um, but glad to be here.
Yeah, and it also took some time to come up with plans. Are we going to keep doing this? Are we going to keep doing a podcast? We're going to keep making content and all that stuff, and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And there's just a lot of stuff. But in the world of alternative football, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and we'll kind of share that at the end. What we're going to do. You can see we're rebranded. So right off the rip, rebranded. So when I started writing written content and written media, I started naming sort of my articles of San Antonio snap count, sort of alluding to covering all types of football in San Antonio. But we were a Brahma specific YouTube channel. We did do some other stuff off and on, but it's the Brahmas no longer exist, as you can see by the announcement by Russ Brandon here. We'll kind of give you our opinion on that. But San Antonio snap count, we used to have BrahmaBullpen.com. That has been completely changed to San Antonio Snapcount.com. So if you see down there in the bottom, SASnapcount.com, SASnapcount.com is where we'll be putting all of our YouTube videos. We'll be putting our written articles. And there's two games. That's the other thing. Like two games. I made a trivia quiz game that people have been playing and having a lot of fun. And now there's a field goal kicking game called Field Goal Frenzy hosted on my website. So even if you want to just go there and kick field goals and play some trivia, we got games, written articles, and we have our podcast. But SASnapcount.com, feel free to check that out. We'll be sharing some of the stuff on social media, but we're going to kind of dig into these press releases and kind of give our opinions on it and kind of go from there. Like I said, there's no breaking news here. We'll have future content coming. We're going to definitely cover sports and football here in the San Antonio area. Some of the stuff that we're working on is actually pretty exciting, but I'm not really at liberty to talk about it right now. We'll probably still be making content for United Football Media. I don't know if our vice president, Ace, is going to assign me a team to cover that is not the Brahmas as possible. There's been some hints at that. We'll see if my heart allows me to uh, continue to do that. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Producer, right now, I'm going to put you on the spot. Theoretically, they ask us to cover the Dallas Renegades, no longer Arlington Renegades. We'll cover that in a little bit too. But theoretically, they ask us to cover the Dallas Renegades. Are you in or out?
Man, that's a tough one. I think there's a couple of ways to look at that. The business decision side of things tells you take those opportunities, you do what you can to support. But emotionally inside, I got to tell you, man, there's a really dead spot in my heart right now for the UFL. It would be difficult for me to cover another team. Just wouldn't feel right. Is it
Yeah.
possible? Yeah, wouldn't feel right.
I mean, look at the bright side, dude. You could just meander your way through that and put in as minimal effort as possible as usual, and it'll just be like the same for you. So I don't know about what you're talking about, but anyways,
Mhm.
similar to a producer's level of commitment to this podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm salty. I'm salty. The same level of commitment we have from the UFL and Russ Brandon to San Antonio. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit. So, as part of the process, Russ Brandon, as part of the process, we conducted a thorough review of all markets and venues. And after careful consideration, we've made the very difficult decision, very difficult for nobody in the UFL, to depart from Memphis, Michigan, and San Antonio. I think the part that really stings for me is one, Michigan and Memphis were part of the original rumors. One, so if this whole time, although it sucks for them here in San Antonio specific, we thought we were going to be pretty safe. So when we were told the team was getting relocated, it was like a kick in the gut. We didn't have time to, uh, process, deal with, think about all that. It was like a boom, kick in the gut. The other thing that was pretty terrible was the Birmingham Stallions. Mike Rapoli played this whole uh, mind game with them and said, "Hey, if you don't sell X number of tickets, we're moving your team." Well, they didn't even sell that appropriate number of tickets, and so they still got to keep their team. Which, if you guys remember on this channel, we were actually trolling a little bit and bought 2 tickets to try to help them keep their team. We didn't get that option here in San Antonio. Then, the other thing, markets such as Houston and Arlington, who had way less attendance than what we did, got to keep their teams because there were magical soccer stadiums available for them to play in. There's a couple of stadiums here, like Alamo Stadium. It's an old stadium, high school stadium that holds like 18,000 people, which would fit their 15 to 20,000 people metric. But I guess it wasn't new enough for them, or it wasn't a soccer stadium. I guess the league is like, I kind of tweeted out jokingly the other day, the league's looking to play on soccer fields. I can't wait to watch basketball on a tennis court. But real quick before we go any farther, you're the stadium guru. You're also theoretically keeping up with this Project Marvel stuff and things going in San Antonio. But your thoughts on stadium? We've done stadium talk here back in the day, and
Yeah.
even ranked like UFL stadiums. So, what are your thoughts on stadiums in San Antonio as far as holding the UFL?
I think we have some stadiums that are available. I think if the league really, really wanted to stay here, there was a path for that. Um, but we don't have the major league uh, stadiums. I'm not sure. I didn't really look too much into the other stadiums that they're using, whether they're MLS or not.
What
But
have you
I'm
What have
pretty
you been
sure they
doing for
are.
2 weeks? What have you been
I'm
doing for
pretty
2 weeks?
I'm pretty sure they're MLS stadiums, and so they get that higher capacity that fits that number of seating that they're looking for. So I get that. We do have a very nice newer soccer stadium. It's just a little smaller. However,
8,000. 8,000.
yeah, so it wouldn't really hit that target. But there's always the opportunity to, for example, perhaps keep the team here, move it to Alamo Stadium, and until some upgrades can be done to what is it, Toyota Field? I think it's Toyota Field. Some
Okay.
upgrades done to it to make it fit those numbers, and it
You really
probably
think
wouldn't take that much.
you really think that could happen? Or have you not been paying attention to the political climate down here, and as far as doing any upgrades to any sports related anything in this city?
I'm not saying extensive upgrades, but look at what they did. Look at what the UFL did in in Las Vegas, for example, when they used Cashman Field. They set up temporary bleachers in certain parts of that stadium to make it work. I'm just saying that for a league like that to set up potentially some temporary bleachers to raise capacity to desired numbers probably wouldn't be that difficult and probably would have been feasible in some form or fashion to raise the capacity and make it possible.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this. It's not feasible. And here's what the problem San Antonio has. One, we didn't get enough people in the Alamo Dome to make it, I guess, cost effective enough. So that's our fault. If we would have had 20 to 25,000 people in that dome watching these games, they would still be here. They wouldn't have left. So this whole
Yeah.
venue crap is bull crap. It's one of the things that they're saying to kind of soften the blow to fans down here. And I'm going to tell you, there's people that I specifically in my personal life that I know are huge football fans that spend ungodly amount of money going to football games, different football teams, of course, that didn't spend a single penny going to Brahma's games. And I personally have called every one of them out, and I hold them each all personally a percentage point responsible for this happening. Then the other thing is There's also the league itself, right? The league itself would rather abandon a franchise, make this crazy adjustment, throw a whole bunch of instability out there again, and really shoot themselves in the foot. You mentioned the Vegas Stadium and the Vipers. That was actually the XFL back in the day.
Well,
And
true, true.
every year there has been some kind of drastic seismic shift in this UFL spring football world that has taken the common fans and disenfranchised them and forced them to not go to the games. And I'll tell you that the league is partially responsible. And then the other side aspect of that is the politicians down here in San Antonio. We don't talk politics on this program, never will, never have. But I'm going to tell you right now, the UFL watches the news, and when they watch the news and everything on there, something negative about sports and where they get the feeling of non-public support about sports and all that stuff, that's also partly responsible for it. So if you're the league, you're the fan, you're the city, and you add all these things together, there's a huge problem that needs to be resolved, and it's not just venue. Okay, the Alamo Dome could have worked if the city would have gave them a better deal, or if the UFL was willing to break even, or if there was enough fans in the stadium to continue to grow it.
Yeah.
I'll
Eh,
tell you another thing. It's also sudden, right? So we got this post here from Tim Morrow. For those that don't know, he's one of the big uh, community leaders down there in San Antonio, runs a San Antonio Zoo. And he's saying just 10 months ago, he sat in a meeting with people from the UFL, XFL headquarters, including Russ Brandon, who put out this statement, including Moose Johnson, everybody loves, and listened to how dedicated they were to the city of San Antonio. Well, that didn't mean nothing because after this Rapoli guy brought in, he's not dedicated to nothing. Okay. He wanted a personal favorite team. He's tied to Orlando. He lives in Orlando. So he wanted a team there. Boom, he got a team there. He has horse racing stables in Louisville. He wanted teams in Louisville. Boom, he got a team there. There's no way that you can convince me that this billionaire and his toys didn't have a personal interest in ripping a team for San Antonio. I mean, maybe if he would have liked Mexican food and remembered the Alamo, we would still have a team here. But there's a whole nother piece of it. This billionaire and his desire to have his toys and play with them and put them wherever he wants them, and we're at their mercy. We're at the mercy of billionaires, like even NFL fans are. They're at the mercy of billionaires. So here we are, San Antonio, once again. What's the whole saying? Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. And we're back down to only having one professional sports franchise in the San Antonio Spurs.
yeah. Yeah. My thoughts on it, Josh. Just kind of touching base on what you're saying. Um, to have the team leave like that, and the things that you mentioned about Birmingham, just toying with Birmingham, and then we didn't even get that opportunity. It was just all of a sudden. Um, it is kind of it does kind of feel like you're getting played with. I think that's
Sure.
a harsh way to put it, but literally, uh, you're playing with cities with millions of people. I think that's maybe some self reflection could be used in that situation. Just because you have the power to do something like that doesn't mean that it's right, and the amount of people that are being affected in that as well. But it's a very harsh thing to go through to lose a team like that.
Yeah, I wrote an article on sasnapcount.com speaking about the legalities of what's going on. Was able to reach out to the actual Richard Oliver, who is actually the communication, convention, and sports facility manager for the entire city of San Antonio. So if anybody knows what's going on with the Alamo Dome, this is the guy that does. And his statement, basically word for word, for 3 years, the Alamo Dome has enjoyed its association with the XFL and the UFL leagues. We're disappointed at the decision to discontinue the Brahmas franchise, but understand the reasoning behind it, i.e., yeah, we didn't give them a deal. Placing the league in games in smaller, more cost-effective venues. We thank the United Football League and the Brahmas organization, the players, especially the fans. No, not especially the fans. You don't give a crap about us. That's why the team's gone. And their support, and remain hopeful that spring football will return to the Alamo Dome. Spring football ain't coming back to the Alamo Dome, and we'll cover that in a minute, and I'll tell you why. And moving forward, we'll use this as an opportunity to bring more major concerts. Yeah, that's what we want. We want Taylor Swift. That's what sports fans of San Antonio want. We want
Oh yeah,
Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga concerts and sporting events at the Alamo Dome. It's pretty wild to think about it, man. In the article, I kind of hypothesized, right? So we do know, according to the Express News and Greg Luca, that back in July, San Antonio did say they had an agreement with the league, meaning here's a contract, it's signed. You're going to play games on X dates. Here we go in 2026. Now we've tried like hell to get copies of this agreement, but they start saying that it provides a competitive advantage, any loophole these damn governments can use to not actually give us feasible information that we can look at and make an educated decision on. Heaven forbid they tell us, hey, this is what it costs. This is how much we make. This is our deficit. So that people could at least sit back and be like, you know what? I'm not getting fed a line of crap. But they can't do that because they're all trying to cover their own butts. Uh, Specific financial terms and early termination fees. None of that was disclosed. The city doesn't tell us what any of the information. So is the city going to go after the UFL because maybe there was a theoretical Taylor Swift concert coming to the Dome and they postponed it for the Brahmas? Of course that didn't happen, but could the city use that as a way to go after the league? What would you do? Do you think the city of San Antonio should just be petty enough to try to sue the league or not?
Well, I know of certain politicians here that have spent money on less worthy things. I'll tell you that. But but uh, that aside, you know what? I think they ought to do it, but
Why the hell
that's
not?
just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't
What
think
do we
it's
got to
going to
lose?
happen. I don't think it. I don't think anything's going to happen. No action will be taken.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the serious conversation we're going to have today. I think you guys could tell by the tone of my voice how disappointed I am that the team is leaving. And we're going to have some episodes come out in the next couple of weeks, kind of outlining what we're going to do here with the Snap Count and with United Football Media and stuff like that. Reason why I don't want to just put it all out there now is because there's still a lot of stuff up in the air. But if it happens, it'll be pretty daggum exciting to be part of it. And, we'll keep you guys in the loop for sure. So now I got a little fun game for you, producer. I'm going to just pull this up. Okay. I'm going to pull this picture up. And your job is to give me the first thing that comes to your mind when I pop up this picture. Are you ready?
All right, all right.
All right. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh
Go.
man. uh, I think with all those pitchers, all three, just
Mm-hmm.
frustration. I know at least two of those are heavily involved with the I was it IAF, and then of course Repol there at the end.
AAF.
AAF, sorry, AAF. My mistake. AAF. Uh, anyway, all three of them are responsible for us losing spring football teams, and so yeah, there's some frustration there with everybody in those pitchers.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Charlie Ebersol all the way to the left, Tom Dundon in the middle. Ebersol went into something with not enough money, was taking a huge gamble that things would just pay off and he could keep the league going. It didn't work out. Evidently, there was like an investor that got investigated for money laundering right in the middle of the AF inaugural season, and the money got locked up, so investment wasn't able to come through. And then they reached out to this hockey team owner, Tom Dundon. I still hate that name. Saying that name makes me want to puke. Bought into the league, stole the technology, and shut the damn thing down. So,
Just wanted
uh,
the app. That's it.
yeah, that's the theory. That's the theory, right? I haven't
Yeah.
seen the app actually being used anywhere, so I don't even know what the heck
No.
he's doing. Remember
What
there
did
was
he do
ball.
with
It
it?
was like ball tracking technology and real life sports betting where you can bet on what the next game is. I don't know. Maybe he used it somewhere and I just don't realize he's using it or whatever. But
He needed
yeah,
a
there was
tax deduction.
there, yeah, there was a whole story with that. I think the difference between Mike Rapoli and the other two is the Brahmas were here for 3 years. So it left a bigger mark because people were much more heavily vested in the league, much more vested in the Brahmas. People had put 3 years of hard work and their own money into stuff. And we're not billionaires, so we don't get to just waste thousands of dollars and then have it basically go into a hole and mean nothing without feeling it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I think the difference is the AAF was trying to stay here, and also the fans, right? When the AAF launched, we had 20. We were expecting over 30,000 on the last game. We were getting 27,000 per game. If we would have done that for the Brahmas, they would still be here. That's the other part that stings, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
the very
some of it,
frustrating part of it.
yeah, some of it is like, okay, well, the AAF burned us, so I'm going to stay home on my couch because I don't want to get invested. And now with this Rapoli guy ripping the team out of here, all it does is justify all those half-hearted fans and excuse makers that didn't go to the games. And
They
yeah,
willed it
I'm
into
salty about it.
existence.
They were so afraid of failing that they willed the failing
Yeah,
into existence because they didn't want to spend 20 damn dollars on a ticket,
yeah,
just a couple of times a year, It's
yep.
absolutely uh painful. It's absolutely painful, but you know, we'll just kind of move on from that and kind of start getting your thoughts. So these are the teams that are going to exist. Um and it's pretty crazy. So the Birmingham Stallions are the team that got a chance to save their team because, a bunch of past championships and things like that, which I guess afforded them more luxury than the Brahmas. The Dallas Renegades are getting rebranded because they're no longer in Arlington. They're going to be playing in a soccer field. And then of course you got the Louisville Kings, which is obviously we alluded to the horse racing and micropoli, and then the Orlando Storm. The Orlando Storm is the one that kind of worries me the most because during the XFL days there was a Orlando team there, and while the San Antonio uh, team was getting a tremendous amount of support. The Orlando teams were not getting any support, and so I think if there's a market that I feel is actually going to go down in it. I feel like there's no way they're going to average the same attendance. The Brahmas were top 3 or 4 in the league every year in attendance. Every year, we're in the top 3 or 4 league attendance. So if the attendance went down, the whole league's attendance went down. And so why they took one of their top 4 markets, also the largest market, largest non-NFL market. San Antonio is bigger than 2 or 3 of these cities combined. I don't know the math, but I think you could add up Birmingham and Orlando or Louisville and Birmingham
Yeah.
maybe and get the same number of
Birmingham,
people
Louisville, throw them together.
that, yeah, throw them together and there's probably the same amount of people in San Antonio. But what are your thoughts on the new Imagine Soccer Football League?
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. The logos don't look bad. I just, as far as where the teams go, yeah, the Orlando one, I would have expected Seattle. Seattle always gave really good support. The other cities that they picked, I don't have too much of a problem with. Um, but yeah, I think Orlando was just an awkward choice. I think the only reason that they went to Orlando, honestly, was well, it's on the East Coast. It kind of travel wise fits in with in the same general geographic as a lot of the other teams. Uh, plus, they found a stadium there that they liked. But
Yeah.
I would have
Well,
gone
it's not
Seattle.
it's not closer to Dallas or Houston than San Antonio. So
No, but it's closer to the East Coast where they kind of wanted to go that direction, get more teams. So
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, actually, I never heard that as a reason for relocation, but maybe
that's just my
maybe there
opinion.
was.
Why, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
that's all. It's
Uh,
just solely my
uh,
opinion.
Well, what we're going to do next is kind of a petty. So if you don't like pettiness and if you don't like fun little games, now's your chance to leave. But I'm going to definitely do something petty. And what I'm calling this my educational series. And what I'm trying to do is educate the common folks, such as myself and producer here, and those out here that watch the snap count on what it means or the translating from billionaire speak to the common man speak. You ready for this, producer? We're going to
Yeah,
do some
let's do this.
education. Some
Let's
of
see.
these are a little petty. Some of these are a little petty. I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
but it was fun doing it. So obviously, you can see the article reference there. This is all based upon the giant news release and everybody being Orlando, basically celebrating the demise of the San
Hmm.
Antonio Brahmas and celebrating the rise of teams in other cities. So basically, Rapoli admitted that it hurt him to cut Michigan, Memphis, and San Antonio, but that he left the door open for Michigan to come back in 2028 when the league adds 2 more teams. The goal is to get to 16 teams. total by the mid 2030s. So the expansion has not been slowed. It has not stopped. According to this billionaire and his toys, the 8 teams are going to grow to 16 teams within the next 4 or 5 years. But here's the deal, San Antonio. Don't get your hopes up. He left the door open for Michigan. The translation is there's no doors open for San Antonio. We kind of talked about the stadium issues. We basically go from an 8,000 person stadium that has the TV broadcasting capabilities and is nice enough for the league to actually view it as a legitimate source where they can sell alcohol and stuff like that, all the way up to 65,000. There's nothing in between there in San Antonio. Now, there's an in between in Austin, but I would argue that taking the San Antonio Brahmas and making them the Austin Brahmas would probably suck even more than just the Brahmas no longer existing. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is zero chance the UFL is coming back to San Antonio, in my humble opinion, based upon what this billionaire speech is saying. And there's a higher likelihood that if there is another team back in Texas, which there probably won't be because everybody was always butthurt there was 3 teams in Texas, that means if it does come back, it's not going to be in San Antonio. It's going to be in
Yeah.
Austin. Producer, what do you think about my billionaire translation? Do you think I'm on point or off point?
Oh, I
Based
think
upon what
you're
Rapoli said?
100% on point. Read that's what you call read between the lines. We're sorry we left all these teams. One has the door open for them. Yeah, read
Yeah,
between the lines. But
yeah.
hey, you know what? Don't let the door hit you. I don't think anybody support them if they come back anyway, because everybody's it's going to be worse. Oh, they're coming back. They're not going to be here very
Uh,
long.
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, there was a core group of 10,000 fans that truly love the Brahmas. That truly, if you went to those games,
Oh
there was
yeah.
10,000 people in there that would have, done whatever it took to keep this team here. There was 4 or 5,000 casuals that would show up from time to time. You're part of the casuals. In case anybody's ever wondering, producer's definitely one of the casuals. I mean, it's crazy. I could tell you some stories. But anyways, let's move on. Let's go ahead and pop up the next one. Tell me if I'm on point or off point. So Rapoli comes out and says, all in the same press conference, this is a developmental league, whether the NFL officially calls it that or not. Rapoli wants players who are trying to get to the NFL, not guys looking for a long-term paycheck. He says, I quote, if you're still in the UFL after 5 years, he thinks you should transition to coaching or something else. That's as direct as it gets. Developmental league, the players should leave after 5 years. Translation, league executives and owners such as Mike Rapoli can have a career with the UFL, but players cannot. Players cannot. If you're here in
Hmm.
5 years, you need to look at doing something else, even mention going and being a coach or do something else. Producer, am I on point or off point on this translation from Billionaire Speak?
Ah, man. So on this one, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I am. I get where you're getting your translation from, and I could see how you could apply it that way. I just think it's a large influx of new talent. I mean, if somebody's in the league for 5 years, that's 5 years of guys coming out of college that didn't get in the NFL, that are younger, faster, and have the possibility to develop themselves and maybe get into the NFL that guy's taken. So I think once again his approach is business like. He's approaching everything as a businessman and a jackass, but a businessman too. But
I,
he's
I couldn't
approaching
dis-
it that way.
I couldn't disagree more. Number one, business, bro. There's no better business than getting a fan base fully invested in their favorite player, i.e., Dak Prescott with the Cowboys, Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs. There's nothing more valuable to a sports team than sports players, especially
But
all-star caliber. I'm still talking, especially all-star caliber players. There's nothing more important to that. Secondly, he legitimately said long-term paychecks don't come here. Okay? Long-term paychecks don't come here. Those were his exact words. There's no beating around the bush, no other way to talk about it.
well, he was talking in reference to developing players specifically because he referenced it being a developmental league, and so I think that's what he was referencing. It was more the
Yeah, sure,
development
sure,
side of things. But
sure,
not to
sure.
defend him,
Well,
I still think
you
he's a
are
jerk.
defending him,
And
and
and I
and
I I think
And
that
I
he
couldn't
doesn't
disagree.
want long-term
With
paychecks anyway because everybody wants raises.
three
So
years
it's
ago,
cheaper.
3 years ago, if any one of these executives, Russ Brandon or Daryl Johnson or Danny or the Rod Garcia, would have called the UFL Developmental League, every one of these sports spring football nerds, we like to call them here, the hardcore spring football people, would have raised a freaking fit, because the only thing they want here is not the
Pro
NFL.
league. Pro league.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants not the NFL here. That in no fun league is not welcomed here. And he has seismically shifted the entire focus of this league to being the unofficial NFL's development league.
Yeah.
The NFL already has an unofficial development league. It is called college football. We've covered it hundreds of times. So you're doing the same thing as everybody else. In this case, you're actually making an excuse for him, because it's no longer a pro league; it's a developmental league, and he doesn't want you here more than 5 years. And those are his exact words.
I'm
We're
just
gonna
giving you
move
my
on. We're gonna move
viewpoint
on. We got a couple
of
more.
what he
Well,
said. All
your
right.
viewpoint is 100% incorrect, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. All right. Next thing's next. The league headquarters will remain near Arlington's Globe Life Park. The stadium, the Renegades are leaving, but they're moving to a different stadium, the soccer stadium, because they were playing in a baseball stadium, so I guess soccer's a little bit better. But they're going to remain in Dallas, and the league's going to be headquartered in Dallas. And so now what he's saying is the headquarters stays in Arlington, which is great. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But translation is the Dallas team gets to stay no matter what. Obviously, they had a soccer team that they could go play in. They had worse attendance than the Brahmas, but because the headquarters is there, they want to maintain a presence in the DFW area. So, in my translation, no matter what happens with Arlington's or the Dallas Renegades attendance, there will always be a team in Dallas. So, once again, San Antonio sports fans, you can see the hat that I'm wearing here. If we want to watch pro football, we have to placate and bow down to Dallas and go up there and support a Dallas team, because San Antonio is not good enough for one of them. So regardless of what happens, Dallas gets to keep a team.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Oh, well,
Nothing
good.
further to add. I think you hit the nail on the head.
You sure you don't want to say that he's just being nice?
Look, if I agreed with you on every one, what's the fun in that?
Well, if I'm right in
Got to
everyone,
disagree
then you
with at
should
least with
just
one of
agree.
them.
All right, this is our last one, and we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. And so according to this is all from the same press conference, all the same days. So Rapoli, who started overseeing the business, says it hurt to move the teams, hurt to really relocate out of the market. So I took that as hurt to inform the three markets of relocation. If I translate this to you from billionaire speech to commoner speech, I will show you fake empathy, football fans, to make myself feel good so I can sleep better at night, because I actually only allowed one of the teams, one of the fan bases, to take efforts to save their team. The other three, Michigan, Memphis, and San Antonio, kick rocks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fake empathy. I
fake
agree with
empathy.
that. Yeah. So
I'm
maybe
so
the
sorry.
maybe what's that?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, maybe I can fool a few people into thinking that I actually felt bad about it. If he felt bad about anything, he wouldn't have been screwing with the Birmingham fans. Do you think he felt bad about that? Did he apologize to Birmingham for making those people truly think they're going to lose their team? Did he feel bad about, you know, making them that feel that way, but then flipping it and ripping our team away? Nah, I don't buy any of that crap. Get out of here, man.
Mhm. Yes, I am salty. Feel free to point that out in the comments. If
Yeah.
you, as a group of people, or if you as a fan base had put forth the same effort that some of the hardcore fans had put in, you would feel salty as well. So I don't even want to hear it. I don't even care if you want to say I'm salty. In fact, if I could get in the room for 15 minutes with Mike Rapoli, I would love to give him a piece of my mind and show him and try to inform him on the quality of people that there are here in San Antonio, and also that San Antonio deserves pro football, whether he thinks so or not. Just because he made up a vitamin water drink and sold it to Coca-Cola and is a billionaire now doesn't mean that he truly understands what the implications of actions that they take are. So, he's a businessman, he's got to make money or whatever, but at least we should have been afforded the respect and the opportunity to put that money in his pocket. And I still also think that the fans have a portion of ownership of this. We can't control what billionaires do, but we could control what we did the last 3 seasons. And if we would have had 20, 25,000 people in the dome, we would still have a team here. So all of us take a little bit of responsibility for that. And with that, I don't have anything else to add. We got exciting stuff coming on San Antonio Snap Count. We're going to definitely be bringing you content. Definitely, it's out of season for us. We don't want to just be making Dallas Cowboy or Texas A&M or UTSA content. Although we got some UTSA articles on the SASnapcount.com if you guys want to go be part of that. I wrote one recently about why we should all support Coach Traylor. It kind of came from a position of we just lost our team, so dadgummit, be happy with what you got and go support the UTSA Roadrunners. But I was a season ticket holder for the Brahmas. I was a season ticket holder for Texas A&M Aggies, and I'm a season ticket holder for the UTSA Roadrunners. And if another team pops up down here in San Antonio, I promise you I'll be a season ticket holder to
Hey,
them as well.
briefly, you were a season ticket holder for the Birmingham Stallions.
Oh yeah, well technically, technically I paid for them, but I did forward them on to the lucky Birmingham Stallions fan that interacted with me on social media. And so with that, just remember there's going to be some exciting stuff coming out of San Antonio. You guys hang on for the ride. There's a lot of influx going, but we're not going away. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get out of here. I don't even know, man. Are we doing a horns forward? Like,
No horns forward.
no horns forward? We're done
If
with
anything, horns down.
that? Man, I don't know. We're going to get out of here with support Poodle football in San Antonio.
That's right.
We're out.